Hey, happy Saturday morning to all my Facebook friends and my YouTube people. This is Mike from Mike's Magic Auto Detailing and Paint Enhancement here in Sharpsburg, Georgia. Sally's already starting to grumble because she knows that very soon this truck will be in the garage and she'll be relegated back outside. I started to get her cleaned up yesterday, and then of course, any of you saw that video know it started raining. So I put her away, and then by the time it stopped, the customer dropped this truck off. Belongs to her hubby. And long story short, she drove the truck. She's not used to driving such a big vehicle. And she had to take it in, you can guess why, and have the wheels powder coated. So the wheels won't be a problem for me in this project. Yeah, she picked it up from the powder coat shop. Like I said, they powder coated these wheels. I looked at them pretty close yesterday. Looks like they did a good job. So those won't be much of a problem. But there seems to be some debate amongst the experts that I asked in my forum yesterday evening about how soon you can put a protective coating on the new powder coating. Some people say that powder coating, once it comes out of being baked on, it's good to go. It's as cured as it's ever going to be. Others said wait a couple of weeks out of an abundance of caution. I don't know much about the curing process of powder coating, so I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But those will be, they're not dirty, so they'll be easy to take care of. The tires will all be stripped and everything. Y'all know the drill there. That'll be the first thing I do this morning. Of course, the dew is still all over this truck. Like I said, it's a 2013, I believe it is. And we'll take a look. But basically the plan is to totally strip wash it, decon the paint, because this truck, he does not clean vehicles. Every now and then he runs it through the commercial car wash. Oh boy. Which on some occasions, folks, it's better than doing nothing, but it does harm your paint. Oh boy. So one of my goals will be to clean up the mess from those people. And there are many contaminants on this vehicle, all three types: surface, bonded, and embedded. The car wash does not help any of that stuff at all, and it will mess up your paint. Oh boy. But yeah, we're gonna strip it, decon it, then we'll clay bar it, then we're gonna do probably a two-step polish on it. And there are certain spots, just a few scratches, that will probably spot wet sand or damp sand to try to make those scratches either minimize or just go away altogether. The whole truck is just covered in what we call micro scratching, probably from the car washes. It's hard to see those because it's still covered in dew, so they're hard to see when the paint's wet. You know, of course, most all vehicles look good when they're wet, and you can see there's still dew on the truck. See there? But see how what dirt comes off. A lot of surface film, as we call it. Oh me. I'm gonna get my inspection light going here because the sun hasn't really come up yet. But you can see, like right there, there's a lot of bug splatter and that kind of stuff, some of which is embedded into the clear coat because it's been left unattended for way too long, as is typical across the front end of a vehicle, as you might imagine. And if you look down in the little cracks and crannies, you can see where all that junk has accumulated, and the car washes generally don't get any of that stuff out. Same thing with this grill. You can see it's all up in here. There again, car washes don't get all that. I will get all of that. And once this stuff is clean, absolutely clean and stripped, I'll be able to tell when it dries if it needs restoring with the solution finish. It may not, but I'll have to get all that. You can see all that stuff down there. Oh lordy. The glass, you know, there again, it's hard to tell because there's still so much dew on it, but the glass is in pretty bad shape. It's got all kind of stuff on it. I'll probably end up having to polish this glass. And you can see, like right in here, all this junk. A lot of that's pollen that accumulated that was not removed. We'll get rid of all that. Yeah, you might imagine those rearview mirrors, they get a lot of stuff. Like there's a paint defect right there. That scratch goes all the way down to the plastic. So that won't go away, and it probably won't minimize a whole lot. But they're not too bad, not too bad. And there's a few rock chips. That's what those little white spots are there. Those are rock chips. I need 3 hands, folks. See, like this is some of that. So like that's a rock chip right there. That little white spot right there where my thumb is. Those rock chips are down to the primer. They won't come out. You see there's a few here and there. Those are starting to turn from oxidation and contaminants and impurities working their way to the surface from inside the plastic itself. Those are plastic steps, and they may clean up all right, but I suspect I may have to do solution finish on those to bring them back to looking like almost new again. And as is typical, you know, this under this door handles always gets scratched. This one is scratched a little bit. I don't think y'all can see them, but they're not really terrible. There's a few little scratches here and there, and you can see like in here, look at all that stuff that's been allowed to accumulate in there. That is pollen and other contaminants that come from various sources, rain, off the roadway, particles floating in the air like pollen and getting in there, and it has not been removed. No telling how long that's been there. Some of that has embedded into the clear coat. Some of it will wash off, but we'll see what we can do with places like that. And all these little nooks and crannies of this whole vehicle have got stuff like that accumulated. You can see like right in here there's some, boy oh boy oh boy, big trucks. The toolbox is relatively new, so that won't be a big deal. Little scratch right there, doesn't pass the fingernail test. We'll try to minimize that, but y'all remember the fingernail test. My fingernail not only catches on it, it will go down into it. It's really deep, but it's a small scratch, but we'll try to minimize that a little bit, see what we can do with that. But that one is not going to go away. But overall, the truck is not terrible. You've got some abrasions, like right here, where it's scratched down deep. There's a chip. See, that's not going to go away, but we'll try to make it look much better. I guess you call this truck charcoal gray, Angela. I think that's what you called it last night. We'll try to get inside all these little places on these emblems and stuff and polish those up and make those look new. This rear step bumper, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff has accumulated in there, which contributes to the deterioration of this stuff, which is plastic, vinyl plastic. That may clean up where it doesn't need restoring. I won't know till I get it clean, but we shall see. If it needs it, I'll do it. And there's some other scratches. One of my neighbors riding by honking at me. It's more rock chips. There's a scratch right there, which is very, very deep on the ends. You can see it goes from up there to down here. That's all the same scratch, folks. But for some reason, the ends of it are deep. But in the middle, not so bad. I don't know if y'all can really see that or not. But I'll be able to minimize these parts with some damp sanding, most likely 3000 grit sandpaper, damp sandpaper. And the middle part of it will just disappear altogether. Ah, look at all that junk. Egads. Oh my goodness. But it should be a fun project. I'll have a good time with this truck, even though it's a big beast. But you can see the paint itself is relatively good. And I did use the paint thickness gauge on it. I have plenty of paint to work with. My first step on any vehicle I'm going to do any kind of paint correction on is to test how, with the thickness gauge, how much paint there is to work with. A lot of these newer vehicles, the paint out of the factory is extremely thin, probably a third of what they used to put on them. And they're coming up with some new water-based paints and this and that and the other I read about the other day that are going to be even thinner and softer than this stuff is, which will make it extremely difficult to correct. But right here, y'all see that scratch right there? That one is not passing the fingernail test, but it's not extremely, it's just scratched, I think, into the clear coat. I don't think it goes down into the base coat or anything. So that one may disappear altogether. We shall see. If not, it probably will pass the 2-foot test. So that when you step back here, see, it almost disappears now. But when you get up a foot away, you see it clearly. But this should almost disappear altogether. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Rock chips. This thing's got rock chips all over it. Just because it hasn't had any protection on it, that made them worse. There's pretty much no problem no product you can put on your paint to protect totally or almost totally against rock chips, except PPF, which stands for paint protection film. Yeah, that stuff does a good job until it gets messed up and you got to take it off and replace it. Oh, that's a pain. I don't do that. Paint protection film, that's another science. A bonded contaminant there. And for some reason, we're on the passenger side, back door, and I don't know if y'all can see, but under that door handle, it's, there you go, now you can see them. See all them scratches under there? See the scratches on this part of it? That's from fingernails. You know, when you reach in there, you scratch it with your fingernails. And for some reason, I don't know why, this back door, you wouldn't think people with too many fingernails getting in and out of the back door. And here's the passenger side. This one I can understand, this front door, passenger door, because I would think maybe the wife gets in and out of this door a lot when she rides with her husband. And you know, women generally have longer fingernails than guys, but we should be able to make almost all of that disappear. Of course, I'll have to get the nano polisher out so that I can get in there with the polisher. Yeah, you could polish it out by hand, but you'd be there all day long. Yeah, that step there, relatively bad shape, but it may clean up. We'll see. We'll see. I was trying to pick up on this glass. You can see all the contaminants on that glass as I pan across it there. A lot of that are what I call chemical contaminants, and you know, that's a different story removing those. But we'll see what we can do. Like I said, I'll probably end up having to polish that after I thoroughly clean them. But overall, the truck's not bad. Got to do the engine bay, which is not terrible. I'm not going to bore you with the engine bay. And we'll take a quick look at the interior, which I keep saying we, Angela. It's me. But we're going to do the interior. We're going to spiff it up. They didn't want a deep interior detail on it, but we'll spiff this thing up, which is not awful. There doesn't seem to be any grease, oil, that kind of stuff. It's just mainly a lot of dirt, dust, that sort of thing. You know, this is dulled up a little bit. This stuff has, what happens is in the heat, sunlight, that sort of thing, you have impurities again in these materials that gas to the surface and cause it to turn. They lay on the surface. Some of them escape into the interior of the vehicle and land on other stuff and cause problems. But we'll see if we can't clean that up, probably with some light steaming, and then put a protectant on there afterwards. Yeah, like I said, we'll get all that gunk out of the places like this, all the dust and dirt out of these. There's a stain on this. I think this is a speaker grill. Yeah, because it says Sony right there. We'll see if we can get those stains off of that. Clean all these little pockets out. I don't know if y'all can see down in there. Pull the floor mats out. Clean those up real good. We'll spiff the carpet up, which is dirty. But there again, I don't see any stains right now. But we'll clean all that up. In this particular vehicle, there's no pet hair, thank goodness. And one thing she and I talked about, she said these white spots on these black leather seats, and yeah, I think these are real leather, according to the push test. She doesn't know what that is. She said they were on there when they bought the truck. She's tried to clean them with leather cleaner. Folks, that stuff is a waste of money on seats like this. These seats, almost all leather seats within the last 15 years or more, are coated with a product very similar to the clear coat on the exterior of your vehicle. So you buy all these special leather products, they are not getting to the leather. What you're doing is cleaning the coating, which is not leather. So that stuff is a total waste of money. Total waste. It ain't going to do squat for the leather because you can't get to the leather. But you can see there's a lot of dust and dirt in here. We'll get rid of all that. We'll super clean this leather on the steering wheel. It's kind of stained and turning a lighter color. We'll clean that and recondition all that stuff for him. Clean out all them cup holders. I'm not going to bore you with that. They're all dirty, nasty. You can see where that thing has started to turn a little bit. We'll get all the gunk out of there. Shifter. Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I'll spiff up the headliner. Of course, we'll open this and clean the glass for the sunroof and all that stuff. All that stuff. It's just basically a lot of dirt accumulated over time and has allowed to fester. You can see it's just a lot of dust and dirt. I don't know if y'all can see all that. I'll pull this back floor mat out, of course. Clean that. Try to get this stuff off of the seats. Like I say, we're not sure what that is. I don't know, almost looks like paint or something. I don't know what it is. We'll see if we can get it off. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's gonna be a beast. It's gonna be a beast. But it's about time to get started, folks. That's the plan, that's the plan, that's the plan. As you can see, I got my platform out ready to go, fully extended as high as it'll go, which is, I don't know, what's that, 2-3 feet? I'll pull it up where I can get on top of it and work on the roof. The roof is another matter. I'd climb up there and show you how bad the roof is, except it's just wet. You can't really see, but trust me, the roof is in terrible, terrible shape, which is typical of these big trucks because they're so high up. People don't get up there and clean them. Of course, this guy, he don't clean his vehicle anyway, she says. He just runs it through the car wash. And the car wash, because of the way the sensors are and the brushes, they just kind of gloss over the roof. And when the brushes are spinning, if you're going through one with brushes, it just beats the hell out of the roof. And it is in terrible shape. I'll probably end up wet sanding the entire roof, which will take a lot of extra time. But we'll see how good it cleans up in the strip wash and what the decon does to it. All right, folks, I appreciate everybody. If you got a question or an observation, put it down in the comments section or send me a PM, I think they call it, and I'll answer any questions that I can. If I can't, I'll try to find the answer for you. And as we progress along, I'll try to highlight the products and the tools that I am using and the methods and everything on this truck. So, you know what? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. I don't care. I'll take up or down. Doesn't matter to me. They tell me it helps me out. Comments help me out if you're watching. And say, I can't tell who's watching. It says there's 2 people watching right now. I know Angela's one of them. Hey, babies. Oh, me. Oh, and here's my obligatory shot in the glass for her. Oh, let me see if I can get the camera where you can actually see me, Angela. There we go. I think you can see me pretty good. Yeah. My hair looks terrible, don't it? Oh boy. I appreciate you guys. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button for me. And as this video series progresses, you'll be notified of any new videos on this truck. And you'll be able to watch the progress as we progress along up to the final video, which will be the last walk around. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm about to get started on the wheels and tires, which is always the first thing to do. Trust me. Always do your wheels and tires first before you do anything else. Okay. I appreciate everybody very much for watching. I'm going to get to work now. Talking time's over.